Hi there, everybody. Meteorologist Dontae Jones here in the Dick Goddard Weather Center, here live on Facebook. Just finished the noon. Thought I'd kind of give you a quick update on what's happening, not only with the fire situation, but maybe you didn't get a chance to watch the noon. Maybe you're at your desk and maybe can't watch TV, but you sure can kind of look at a Facebook Live, or you're at work, or whatever you're doing. We're here for you. A little hazy today, probably about as hazy as yesterday, maybe a little hazier, not as hazy as we were the day before, but certainly still dealing with the wildfires. And we'll be dealing with them for a while. I believe Canada said that the fires could increase before they decrease, before they get them under control. So it just really depends on the winds. So right now our winds are out of the north. And so with our winds out of the north, that means all the wildfire smoke that's north in Canada gets spread into our atmosphere. Over the weekend, our winds are going to switch to out of the south. So we'll get the southerly flow, and the southerly flow will push the winds in the opposite direction, and it'll stay into Canada. And the temperatures will warm up here too, and we'll see some sunshine over the weekend. The weekend's going to look real nice. I think our next chance for appreciable rain will come in on Sunday afternoon. So Saturday and most of Sunday should be fine for you. But stay tuned though, if you got, especially if you got the Sunday plans or something's happening outdoors on Sunday that you want to go to, that's when you're really going to want to stay tuned to the forecast. All right, let's get out. Let's talk about it here. Headlines. Here, big, again, my Facebook Lives, I kind of tend to run them sort of like, the same forecast that you would see on TV, except we can kind of take our time and I can go in a little more depth here. Hazy skies, again, still going to be in place at least through the rest of this week. And then over the weekend, the southerly flow will push those away, and our air quality should come up, and we'll see more sunshine, and the temperatures will come up. It'll feel more like summertime. I mean, we're going to be approaching almost mid-June now. These 68-degree days that we're seeing right now should not be. That's a hint to Mother Nature. Hopefully she's listening, although I control nothing. All right, so more sunshine too, as I mentioned. We're dry tomorrow. We'll get some more sunshine through the weekend. Second half of the weekend, again, is when we expect the rain, especially Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. So as I mentioned, the air quality alert's still in place. It's, I think for the most part, you're okay. You're okay going out. It's just really for those who suffer from breathing problems, asthma or what have you. It might be a little tougher for you to breathe today because of all the fine particulates that's in the air, because this is no longer a loft. You might remember when the wildfires were out in the western parts of Canada, like in Saskatchewan and what have you. That was just a loft, and none of the particles were reaching the ground, so it was fine. The air quality was fine. Now these are much closer in Quebec and Ontario, and so the particles are, the smoke is thicker, and this is reaching the ground, and so that's why the air quality is just so terrible. So we'll actually pick up some of those fine particulates in our lungs. And so if you have the breathing problems, everybody else, you will be okay. And of course the elderly and the very young, again, whose lungs aren't as can't hold as much capacity, you're recommended to stay indoors as well. But everybody else, you're fine to be outside, but what I would say is don't exert yourself. So jogging, I wouldn't necessarily do. Maybe taking the long walks or what have you, I wouldn't necessarily do. Just kind of stay indoors for those things, in the gym or what have you. But if you're just going to and fro, work, grocery store, what have you, you're fine for that. We're not seeing the numbers that they're seeing in places like New York City, New York State, down towards Washington, D.C. We're not seeing those numbers as far as the air quality goes. Now, the numbers that we are seeing, take a look, as for example, so if you look right there where that big stripe of red is, now that's part of that is Northeast Ohio. And then it stretches, and that's tomorrow. Then it stretches into Pennsylvania, upstate New York. And if you look down towards the mid-Atlantic, towards the D.C. area, and up towards New York City, it stays in that red area. So they're in the healthy to very unhealthy category. We are not necessarily so. We're in the unhealthy for some, slightly unhealthy category there. So we're doing okay. Right now our numbers are 88 to 120, and so that's why I say we're in the unhealthy for some to unhealthy category. So that's why it's just recommended that you don't overexert yourself if you're outdoors, and if you have the breathing problems, just stay inside. Here are the wildfires currently. So you can see all these wildfires, just as a definition, when we think of wildfires, we think of these big raging monsters that you always hear about that's taking up millions of acres and what have you. No, wildfires can be anything that's a fire that's wild and out of control. So and it's ruining brush and vegetation and what have you. So you could have a wildfire, maybe say the size of a block, all the way up to those raging monsters. So that's why you see so many dots in there. You see some in Ohio, you see some over in Pennsylvania and Illinois and what have you. So you have all these wildfires, but don't think that every wildfire is one of those big raging monsters that's taking out whole forests and what have you. You can see the haze here. It's one of those. It looks like one of those summer days where the ozone and all the pollutants and particulates are trapped in the atmosphere with an inversion. It's just a summery, hazy day in the distance. That's what that looks like. But no such joy of 87 degrees and humidity and haze, and it's just deliciously summer. No, that's just undeliciously smoke from wildfires. So, that's why it's a lot of times, the officials who control these things, and firemen as well, will often tell you when it's really dry. And we've said it too, here on air, especially the past couple of days, when it's really dry outside, just don't burn anything. Be careful of things like that, throwing down cigarettes and what have you, because it's real easy for these things to catch on fire. And I think I heard something about a lot of those wildfires in Canada being man-made because people just weren't careful and the fires got out of control. So that's one of the big things. I know you probably hear it all the time. You're probably like, okay, these officials, oh, whatever. But I mean, you hear it in California all the time. You hear it, out west, these raging wildfires that happen and probably could have been prevented if someone was just more careful and not negligent, in all honesty. So that's what we're dealing with, and that's why they say it, because it affects a whole lot of folks when those things start to get out of control. All right, so mostly cloudy to variably cloudy skies is what we're seeing today. And then a spritz or a spring. I mean, really, you probably see one shower that right there moved across Canton mid-morning, and then maybe another blot that's just south of Youngstown right now. That's about it. That's all we're seeing today. There's the wildfire smoke there. Notice again those colors that are yellow and orange and red. Today and tomorrow, we continue to see those here in Northeast Ohio. So that means we'll continue to see the haze and the bad air quality. Now look over to the right, see that white strip there. And if you look on the legend at the top, that's very high. So that's what folks over in Pennsylvania and upstate New York and downstate New York and the mid-Atlantic, that's what they're dealing with, the very unhealthy. That's where you've been watching our newscasts and probably some of the national outlets and on social media and seeing the Mars look, orange, yellowish look of New York and what have you. That's because their air quality is really terrible, and they're dealing with it. And it's again, it's just the way the wind blows. Now that could easily be anybody else as well if the wind's blowing in the right direction. But they happen to be just to the south, just due south of where those fires are, and so that's why their quality is the worst. If the fires were in Ontario, just to the north of us, then that would be us, seeing the Mars blanketed look there. So the winds are really important when it comes to weather and transporting things in the air. Again, that's why it's just really important what we do here at the surface that goes aloft into the air. It's important that we be safe, because that affects a lot of other people. Again, just sort of hammering that meteorological aspect in you, because that winds play a really, really huge role in weather and then in anything else that we do. That's why we pay attention to winds and wind direction. And we're going to notice that this weekend too. Winds are very important. They'll be coming out of the south, so we'll finally feel a little bit warmer again. I know some of you really like the 70s though. You think it's comfortable. You don't like the heat and maybe the humidity that comes with 80s as well. I get it. I understand. But come on. It's June. It's not technically summer, but it's close enough. Let's just warm up a smidge. What meets you halfway? How about at 80? Well, how about we won't go above 80? We'll get at 80. Would that be okay? Okay. 66 right now in Cleveland. 70 in Mansfield, down in the New Philly. 65 in Ashtabula. They're seeing more sunshine out west. They're not seeing the cloud cover that we're seeing because of this low pressure just off to the east of us. So they're out of the realm of that low pressure, and so they're seeing 70s there with more sunshine in Toledo and Findlay. We'll get up into the upper 60s by the lake here, and then lower 70s everywhere else away from the lake. And again, variably cloudy is what I want to call it, because there will be times of some blue sky and sun, but it's more often we'll see the clouds and the haze than more of the blue sky and sun, but you'll see some. Pollen forecast, things are low. Thank goodness. I mean, we're already dealing with bad air. We don't want to have to deal with the bad allergies too. That would just be where for worse. So thank goodness that the tree, mold, weed, and grass is on the lower side. Guardians game this evening, going to be great. Similar to last night, 67. There is still some haze out there, so I don't think I've heard anything about canceling the game again, because our air quality, while it's not good, it's not as terrible as they saw in New York yesterday, where they had to actually cancel their game. So so I think we're still good as far as getting the game in, but it'll be nice. I mean, sitting out there for a few hours, just be careful. But if you have the breathing problems, maybe wouldn't suggest going out there. But at least you'll be sitting down and not, hopefully not overexerting yourself if the Guardians start to win. Just kind of stay calm there if you got the breathing problems. And I get it. I mean, if you have asthma or breathing problems, what have you, and you just want to go to the game, you're like, listen. If you're telling me it's not as bad as New York City, where if I'm standing out there for a long period of time, it's like smoking a half a pack of cigarettes, then okay, I'm going to chance it and go out and see the baseball game. And if you're going to do that, just sit and enjoy it, and don't cheer and jump up and down or what have you too much to get yourself all worked up with the breathing problems. All right, here's some upcoming events that are going on. We always love to show these because let's be honest. I mean, you watch the weather for what you're doing. Sure, you have it on in the background. You're going to work, coming home, what have you. But when you have something you got to do outdoors, it's summertime, you're going somewhere, what have you. You want to know, okay, what is the weather going to be like? Is it going to be too cold, too hot? Is it going to rain or storm or what have you? So we love showing these events because we know people. It's that time of year. People are going out to them. So looking good so far, Friday and Saturday. 70s for Friday, 80s for Saturday, or right at 80 right now anyway, whether you're going to Fiddlers of Dublin or Bay Arts Festival or the Hooley Fest. Things are looking good. Drought monitor, so that's taken every Tuesday and it's published every Thursday. So of course we've been dry for the last 18 days now. So no surprise that we've gone from abnormally dry to moderate drought. We don't really get concerned until we start to see severe drought and extreme drought and exceptional drought. Moderate drought is okay, especially when we actually see some relief in sight. Now, we get concerned if there was no relief in sight. If we thought, patterns are saying that next 2 weeks we're going to see another, dry spell, then we'd be concerned, because then we'd be probably working our way into severe drought. But that's not the case. We've got some rain coming our way, second half of the weekend and into next week. As a matter of fact, Sunday afternoon into the evening hours, so when we start to see the rain showers come in with the front, and then Monday, scattered rain showers. Tuesday, some leftover scattered rain showers, possibly into Wednesday as well of next week. So here's what we got today. Again, just a spritz or a sprinkle, primarily along and east of 77. See more sunshine out to the west. And then there's tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, not really any rain chances there. And then Saturday, same thing, sunshine. And then that's when we get into Sunday. And I'll play this Sunday here for you right there. So I'll pause at about 4:30 for Sunday. You can see just to the west of us is when we start to see those rain showers come in about 4 o'clock there on Sunday. So it moves through the rest of the late afternoon and evening through the east. And then there's Monday morning, going to be a wet commute for you Monday morning, scattered showers. And then Monday evening, still looking at scattered showers around. And then there's wraparound moisture that comes in through the day on Tuesday, because that's an area of low pressure just off to the north there. So Sunday night, Monday and Tuesday, and possibly even into Wednesday, depending on how fast this thing moves, we get some rain showers. So there's relief in sight. So that's why we're not too overly concerned with this moderate drought. All right, so variably cloudy today, cooler with some haze. Tonight, 52, mostly cloudy, hazy, and mild. And then the 8-day forecast, it's looking good, So we got 72 tomorrow, partly cloudy, again a little haze, so just careful if you're going out in the evening tomorrow. 80 for Saturday and Sunday. Our winds turn out of the south, so we're getting rid of the haze and the smoke and warming up the temperatures and keeping the sun, so that's going to be nice. Again, afternoon and evening, late afternoon I'd say for Sunday, at least that's the timing right now. That's when the rain comes in. And then Monday, Tuesday, good shots of showers. Wednesday, Thursday, maybe a few leftover lingering showers here or there. May not be as wet as Monday and Tuesday. And temperatures looking nice. Again, I think we're in those, except for the 80-degree days, especially as we get into today and tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, we're in that sweet spot where you don't have to worry about the heat nor the air conditioning. So you can kind of give your utility bills a little bit of a break there. So forecast looking good so far. Really can't complain. I mean, you could if you're like me and you really like summertime and you want these temperatures to be at least 20 degrees hotter. At least today, it could be 88. That would be good. But, that's just me. I know I'm in the minority with that. A lot of you like these 70s and lower 80s with no humidity, and I understand it. I get it. But, all right, so I am going to do a fresh clickable here after this and then update the website for you just to give you an afternoon update. I don't think it's been updated since this morning when Jen Harcher updated, although there's not too much different that's going on in the forecast. But I'll just kind of give it a little fresh look for you for the afternoon. Then I will see you at 4 o'clock when myself and Andre Bernier and Mackenzie Bart joins me for the evening newscast. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good one.